Hello, everyone. It's 8 p.m. India time, and we're about to start. And welcome back to Chinet, where, as you might know, we spill tea on technology before the machines take over. I'm your host, Rachit Magan, and today I'm with someone who's basically the poster child for strategic career evolution in technology. Meet Aniket Chakravarty, an engineer who started as an Amazon intern back in 2016 and systematically conquered not one, not two, but three completely different domains over the last 8 years. While most engineers either specialize deep in one technology or become generalist, who know a bit about everything, Aniket cracked the code a bit different. He systematically learned entire business domains: banking, e commerce, customer service, construction tech, not just the code, right? But actually how these industries work. What is happening inside, and what's the business behind these industries? So today we're actually diving into his career strategy, but more importantly, his take on the AI revolution, how it's going to hit different sectors, and his playbook for engineers who want to build similar, AI resilient multi-domain careers. Aniket, welcome to Chinet.
Thank you so much, Rachit. Like, thank you for the generous introduction, and I'm very excited to be here.
Amazing. So let's just get down to the questions. You've had quite a journey from Amazon to Procure today. That's 8 years, five different domains, different business domains. What we've heard is that, or what we've seen is that people kind of try to focus in one, go and build deep into one sort of business domain, and a lot of people actually find very hard in, when they want to change domains. Like by domain I mean the business domain, of course, not the technology. So but take us back to 2016, when you started your internship. How was it like, and at that time, did you have any idea that you'll end up where you are today?
Certainly not. I like when I was intern at Amazon, I had very different hopes, very different future plans. I was practically thinking like uh, where my career is going to be. Like I didn't have any idea at that time, like where it will go. But to today, if I say like uh, the journey which I have made, the companies, the domains which I have learned along the way, I have picked so many friends and like mentors who have actually helped me achieve whatever I have achieved till now. It's been like great overall. Uh, when I was like during my internship, definitely like there were like so many things. Like once you are like fresh out of college, you basically uh, like get to know a lot of things which are like completely new to you, technologies, architecture, and like scale. Basically probably like scale is something which is like you might have like seen for the first time after you get into a big company like Amazon especially. So yeah, so
Right.
that was a great journey.
No, that's very true. Like scale, like working, and that actually, that kind of reminds me that you've worked actually on very different scales, right? Like you've worked at the scale of Amazon, you've worked with Shopmatic, and even smaller. So, how do you think, like, since you've worked in so many different environments, from enterprises to startups,
Right.
what do you learn at a smaller company, and what do you learn at a big company, and what do you not, right? So what's the difference between working in a smaller company and a big company? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so like since I have worked on both big and small companies, even I have worked in service-based companies and product-based
Right.
companies, different types. So I think there's a lot to learn in a lot of different places. Every place has something different to offer. Uh, Companies which are like service focused, they have a lot of process oriented work. Like you actually need to be compliant with a lot of things. Like you have to think of like whatever changes you are going to make, how it is going to impact the customer or the client directly. So uh, compliance is a major part there. Apart from that, like on like in startups, you basically focus on like time to market, how fast you
Mhm.
can build, how soon you can like take your application to the customers. So that's something. uh, so yeah, in every stage you have different things to learn, and like both of them have been like uh, uh, very like I've been grateful to like all the companies that I've worked with till now.
Right, right. No, it's, I think the sum of all parts makes the whole, right? And it's greater than the whole. So I think that's what that's what's here. But that's amazing, so many different roles, so many different companies, and of course, a different scale. That's what's different. So tell me something. Since now you've moved to, let's say, a staff engineer position, right? So that comes with a lot of different mindset. Like, for example, when we're working as a developer, as an engineer, you're actually trying to understand, how to build something, what code, like, how do you write code and all of those things. And then suddenly you start influencing the whole technical direction. You move to something like, how to build that, right? And maybe even what to build, right, instead of actually how to build. So what do you think is the difference between what you're doing now versus, let's say, 3 to 5 years ago?
Yeah. So as you said, like the major difference is the focus of the developer. Initially, we are focused on the feature or the application what we are developing. But as we grow, we become like more product focused instead of feature focused. We need to think of like what product actually wants, what a customer actually wants, and what things can arise in future. We have to keep those things in mind, and our focus like it shifts from like lower level to the higher level of design architecture, and uh, the scale we have to keep in mind whether that will support our system or not, those kind of things. Like there's a lot, basically a completely different perspective is required once like somebody gets to a staff engineer kind of level.
सही बात है। तो मतलब जो आप सोच रहे हो और जो आप मतलब कर रहे हो, उसका इम्पैक्ट बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है, राइट? तो आप
Right.
बहुत डिफरेंट चीज़ वो कर रहे हो।
बिल्कुल।
तो अब जैसे अभी तो it's been so long since you've been working, and in the last 2 years, the whole the whole AI coding landscape has exploded, right? There's so many things,
Tremendously.
and so and that's the core purpose of why I've got you here today, because I want to know your insight. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about AI, and let's start with our industry, which is coding assistant. So we have so many things, right? Like we have Copilot, Cursor, Claude. Everyone is now working on, helping developers to write code. And actually, there are studies which says that almost 70-75% developers are now using AI tools to write code. But
Right.
you know, as a staff engineer, for you and for your juniors, what do you think has actually changed in a day to day, in a day to day life? वो वाइब कोडर्स और वो सब हटा देते हैं, वो तो मतलब ना, वो मार्केट में अभी वो है कि चलो एक दिन में मैंने ऐप बना दी एंड आई नाउ आई एम अर्निंग 10,000 MRR. I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that can, you know become actual revenue generating startups. So let's remove coding. For someone who's actually shipping products which are actually getting used in the real world, what is the change in day to day life?
Yeah. So definitely there is a huge impact on developers' lives since these tools have come up. I personally use them day to day, like every day. Uh, the number one thing I think which like they have impacted is how people search code. Like basically they have replaced Stack Overflow and Google searches.
Hmm.
And like you don't need to change your id or anything, you just type what you want to search and like you'll get an answer. So that's the major part of it. Apart from that, like whatever mundane or repetitive task we do, those kind of things it has replaced. uh, if I want to make an application, let's say there's a lot of boilerplate code initially which I have to write, so those can be delegated to the AI agents and Copilot. Along with that, like unit tests, those can also be done, like refactoring of the code or simplifying complex logics, those kind of things. um, I think there's one thing which definitely helps is like with legacy code, people have a lot of problem with like they basically struggle with legacy code and they want like understand, they don't want to touch it. With
Yeah.
these tools, at least we can do some simplification which we can change later. So it's like quite helpful there, definitely.
Hmm. I
And people can,
think,
uh,
right.
right, developers can focus over the business logic and the creative problem solving, those kind of things.
नहीं ये तो है आई थिंक यू शिप फास्टर यू आर नाउ नॉट scared to change a lot of code earlier which probably you were but अभी इसमें ना एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है कि अब वो बोल रहे हैं and of course even in our company we've seen that now junior developers of course ship faster right like earlier जिस चीज़ में उन लोग को 4 दिन लग रहे थे वो एक दिन में करके दे देते हैं but there's a very strong concern that they are only shipping code right they're not learning fundamentals they're not जैसे आपने बोला right कि वो um, they are even if it's legacy code which was written 10 years back and there's some core logic but they'll probably give some command to cursor and it'll change everything but
Right.
you know coming from someone who's mentored these developers who's mentoring these engineers at a senior role do you think AI is actually creating better developers, or AI is just creating, faster? I would say code producers, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah, you are definitely right. Like, basically, uh, the problem solving has been replaced by productivity, how fast you can ship,
Right.
uh, and the critical thinking, those kind of talent has basically taken a hit with this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's basically whole point of your current episode, right? Like how not to get replaced by AI.
Right. Right.
That's what will make the difference. If somebody is actually using just to ship code and they are not understanding what is happening uh, internally, then their job is probably in a threat. Yeah,
Right.
but people who are understanding that, definitely they have like a better scope in future. Uh,
Right.
Let me give you an example. I was using Bolt to create an application recently,
Mm-hmm.
and I it was a multiple page front end application, and I wanted to like have multiple pages. It's a very simple thing, but what Bolt was doing, it was basically rendering pages based on an if else.
Mm.
I had to specifically tell it that to use a React router instead of if else,
Yes. Yes.
and that's something like it's very basic, but AI probably doesn't understand that, because it might have like whatever the data set it has learned on, they might have like more if else, and statistically that is more likely to
Mm.
basically produce better result in their mind.
Right.
So if the developer doesn't know what exactly it is writing is right or not, or it is scalable or not in future, it is going to come and bite them.
ये पता होना चाहिए मतलब अगर if they don't know only what to write what not to write then it's very difficult but um, मतलब but how do you balance something like that right मतलब कि as a junior developer मतलब अगर मैं सोचूं तो मेरे को task मिला है and I have to complete it and you know if I how do I balance कि मैं should I use an AI tool and quickly finish the task test it and then ship it or should I go into the fundamentals and then understand and then think and then take 2 days and then probably get a yelling how will someone balance that
Uh, yeah, so again, there's no right answer to it. You
right
need to have a balance between them.
mm-hmm.
You can use AI to write the code, but then you need to understand what it is actually doing. If, let's say, in future you need to come back and do some changes there, and you need let's say you don't have the same tool which had the context at that time, so you will basically have to understand what it is, what it has done, and so you need to have like a complete understanding of what you have shipped, regardless of it is written by you or by the AI.
Hmm.
And it's not just that understanding what AI has written, along with that, what could have been better. Like there can be scenarios where the AI solution is probably not optimal.
Right,
You need to understand whether that solution is optimal or not, and only then you basically need to ship it.
right.
So that's it comes down to individual. They need to spend some time on that. They need to understand whether whatever they are shipping is something they completely understand or not. If not, then they should probably like take a step back and basically go through it properly, and then only like take the next step.
Right, right. No, that's true. So it's very important to actually understand what what's being written by the tool, right? And of course, you must be doing code reviews. And but yeah, that's so when you're doing these code reviews, right? How do you actually check? Like, what do you check for now? Because earlier, तो क्या था अब हम when we used to do code reviews, we're seeing चल logic ठीक है, is the is it adhering to whatever guidelines we have made. Now how do you do code reviews, and what do you actually look for? Do you look for AI generated code, and do you and then if it's an AI generated code, uh, do you actually search for some specific things which let's say something like a cursor does, or do you like tell them कि अच्छा mark an AI generated code, and then like what do you do now? How do code reviews work?
Basically, now you might have seen like there are a lot of bots which are which you can add in GitHub Actions
Right.
itself, and they can do code review for you.
Yeah.
But I think whatever code review they are doing, that is very basic level. Those are the things which you might like a human might miss. For example, let's say I have added some debug logs and I forgot to remove those, and
Right.
the reviewer has missed them. Like, okay, like they should be removed, or maybe some other thing where like
Hmm.
the types are not matching and those kind of things, like which a human can miss, but they are very generic. Those kind of things we should rely on AI. But I think after, at certain point, like you need to understand that AI is not going to read. They are not going to know the complete code base. They are not going to know whether there was a utility function already existing,
Hmm.
or I should write a new one. They will probably write the new one all the time.
Right.
Um, yeah. So, and maybe sometimes like AI will have like a uh, like the best possible solution, but you might be following some other pattern in rest of your code. You
Hmm.
need to basically check for those kind of things. I specifically do those kind of reviews where
Right.
I can find repetitive patterns and we can replace those instead of actually using like the AI generator outputs. uh,
Right.
that's very important. Like we, again, like you need to work with AI in tandem. You cannot say like I will not use AI for reviews, or I'll completely use AI for reviews. It has to be done in tandem, where the reviewer and the AI both have like inputs, and like based on both those inputs, we need to like basically refactor our code and like make better uh,
Hmm.
code quality.
Right. But do you, how much of that happens now? Like, for example, how much, like, if we talk about percentage, how
Hmm.
many times is that you do a face palm and you like, this is like, this is AI slop.
Lot of times, like it's like lot of times it happens. It might seem unconventional, like, or like not true, but yeah, there is like AI, as I said, like AI might produce optimal solution, but it doesn't know rest of the code base. So it's like uh, very high probability that whatever AI is generated might not be relevant. Sometimes it is not even relevant for what I'm writing. It might be just generating a lot of
Right.
uh,
Random code.
random code.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like totally.
That's true. I remember once I was writing whole like a settings page for for an app, and I built the whole the whole UI, and then there were a couple of things which were superfluous. So I was trying to tell Cursor that just refactor it, and gave some guidelines and all of that. And after a couple of minutes it says like perfect, and I've refactored it, and the only thing left was a settings, like was the word settings. So
It refactored everything.
yeah, so that's it's interesting, what's been happening. But where do you draw the line, right? Like when because see, what I feel is that you as a senior need to somehow tell your juniors, "Kesha, these are the things you can do with AI. These are the things you can't do with AI." So what do you like? How where do you actually draw the line? Okay, this needs to be done manually, or is it like everything can be?
I'm sorry, I lost you for a bit. Rachit there.
Oh, no problem. So I was just asking that as a senior, where do you draw a line for using AI in writing code? Like, what are the things which you feel that can be done, or you've like, created SOPs that okay, these are the things which can be done with AI, and these are things which cannot be done with AI.
Okay, so we don't have a guideline for that, and I don't think we can have a guideline for that, because ultimately, individual, if they are using the AI for something which we don't know about, like, we cannot control everything. But the main idea is, like, before somebody writes code, we basically go through design discussions. Those kind of discussions will actually help, like, what you are going to write and how you are going to write it, instead of AI generating the complete pattern, logic, framework kind of thing. You should have a framework already in your mind, and that's something is very important in this step. If like, a person has idea of what is need to be done, then they, if they are using the AI, it's like well and good, because they will be able to catch what, like, AI did wrong, and they can modify that. I specifically, we encourage a lot of unit testing using AI, because when we write as a human, we write unit test, we might probably have, like, one happy path, two or three edge cases, and one, like, failure path, something like that, like, very limited. But when AI writes it, it can think of more scenarios. The number of scenarios increases. So that's something I encourage personally, to
Hmm.
write unit tests using AI, because number of test case increases, and yeah, definitely your code has a better quality.
That's very, I think, important that testing is something I think where AI can actually do a lot of help, right? So,
And
but you think
yeah,
it's hard for all our QA brothers and sisters that QA is going to be replaced maybe completely by AI? Do you think that?
no, I don't think so. Like, nobody can be completely replaced by AIs. Definitely, there will be, like, some changes on how things are being done.
Right.
Probably, like, the QAs maybe today they are doing, let's say, testing. Instead of that, they'll be like, writing prompts for AI to generate tests, and
Mhm.
then, like, complete test suits out of it. Uh,
Right, right.
so yeah, the things will change, but it nobody is going to be replaced directly.
So you're in the team AI which says that okay, there will not be replacements for because of AI, right?
Yeah, as I said, like, you have to mold yourself with the change. If
Mhm.
you are adopting yourself with the change, and you are basically embracing whatever new technology comes in, and how the work is changing along with that,
Right.
in that case nobody can replace you.
Fair enough. If you're learning well, and if you know what's coming, basically, I think if you're
Right.
aware of the new technology, then
Definitely.
that's I think one ray of sunshine that that you stay here. But what I have seen in our company is that using a lot of AI tools. Actually, sometimes instead of okay, you might ship fast, but those features come back, right? Come back with bugs, come back with problems, and they come back faster than you're actually shipping. So with the result, what happens is that the amount you've shipped versus the bugs and the technical that you've created sometimes becomes actually more, right? Versus what you think. And now, I think in the last couple of weeks, that's not happened for us. Thankfully, I think with the new, we use Cursor. So with the new Claude model, it's been pretty okay.
It's better,
But
yeah.
what do you think? In your experience, have you ever seen that AI tool actually introduces more technical debt, and or it doesn't? But in your context, do you even measure? Is it even possible to measure that? And do you measure that?
Yeah, so I guess, uh, like, I have not seen much of tech debt getting introduced by AI. As I
Mhm.
said, like, we focus a lot on, like, what is being generated by AI during code
Right.
reviews. uh, but yeah, that's definitely true. As I said earlier, if somebody is shipping without actually understanding what is happening, it will basically come as a bug or a tech debt later. uh, Saying that, there is one more part to it, or one more side to it, that like whatever tech dates we used to push it for later, with the speed we can actually uh, complete those as well
Hmm.
within that much time. So whatever time you save, you can actually utilize that. It's basically uh, like basically completing the feature as well as whatever the pending work. Along with that, you can just do it together.
Hmm. Fair enough. Now something which has been in my mind. So right now, when we hire for new candidates, right, there are resilient tools which help you cheat in your interviews. There's actually I think there's this tool called Cluely,
Right.
which has been doing rounds on social media, where they themselves they say that it's a tool to cheat, although they say it's basically an AI which hides in your in your system, and while you're doing a meeting or whatever, no one can get to know that you're using that, and it'll keep
Right.
answering questions, right? So now, how has interview process changed for you after the whole AI explosion? What do you look for in a candidate? How do you do that?
Yeah, with these tools, I have seen a lot of scenarios. Basically, we can actually see people, like it seems like people are reading out loud from, like, let's say
Mm,
ChatGPT or something. They might have been typing somewhere. They might have multiple screens open, and they type and do that. So um, I guess there is no like absolute way to determine, but the like most easiest way is to understand what answers they are giving are human or not. Like you can actually detect if the answers are very monotonous and like basically gives like specific definition instead of understanding, so you can actually think of that something might be an AI. The way like interview, like basically the candidate conducts the interview, conduct themselves in the interview, that can tell you a lot whether they are cheating or not. uh, but yeah, there's no deterministic way to actually differentiate.
So
uh,
it's hard now to actually
yeah,
understand the kind, unless until you call them to your office and then you interview.
yeah, right. If it's face to face, then it's different completely.
Right, right.
Yeah. I guess with this, the way interviews are going to happen in future, probably people will start calling to office. So
Hmm.
yeah, there,
Right.
there's not much we can do with it.
True. So, what do you think of the future? Now, what do you think? Do you think eventually AI systems will be so advanced that they can actually understand business requirements, create architect the whole solution? Although there are companies which already claim to do so, I think they're far from there. But eventually, do you think it will be possible, or do you think that AI will hit a wall? So, what's your, let's say, in the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, what do you think AI in software development at what position will AI in software development be?
I definitely think there is a possible future where you basically give a product requirement to the AI, and it basically is a series of agents, you can say, which one generates the design, second reads the requirement and starts writing the code, and maybe you can have a master agent kind of thing, or like a main agent or
Mhm.
supervisor agent kind of thing, which basically checks what others are doing or not. I am pretty sure this is like there is going to be a future where this kind of like a swarm of agents is going to be there, which can actually
Right.
do things end to end. I'm not saying that one system can do all the things. Yeah, there will be a swarm which are like helping each other, how humans help each other, a team works. You have a product manager, you have a designer, you have a back end, front end, QA, those kind of things. Like you'll have different agents who are basically communicating with each other, and there will be like they will be able to produce complete outputs standalone without any interruption. But
Right.
ultimately, there, I guess, there needs to be accountability, so there will be some human intervention in each steps, which can actually check and verify whatever things are happening, or like they are being done, they are right or not, they are going in right direction or not. And that's how you can retain your job, basically get into those kind of positions which understands the output of the AI systems.
Right. And I think we're almost done with our time. But I have one last question. That let's say you get an option to speak to that Amazon intern who is, I think in your case it was Hyderabad, right? Who's entering the Hyderabad Amazon campus right now, and you can tell him one advice, just one advice. What would you tell him?
Um, I can tell you one thing. If before my graduation, if I had this option, I would tell them software engineering banna bhai.
Absolutely. Right, right,
Yeah, that's something
right,
like I
right.
think our the software engineering scenario is quite scary right now. I am definitely positive like things are not going to turn that bad, but yeah, you never know.
No, that's very, it's very true, and it's the, I think it's a grim reality that the whole engineering. Like I think if, as you said, that there will be oversight, there will be some human oversight, but of course the number of humans you need to ship code will exponentially reduce. It's already reduced, I think,
Yeah.
but it will exponentially reduce even more. And yeah, and I think that's the exact advice I've been giving to my my nieces and nephews who call me up, and I'm like, see, think twice if you actually want to get into the field. You get in the field if you're like crazy about it, right? If you're like if you're crazy about tech, you already know crazy things and you've done
Yeah,
it, then it's fine. But not
well
for
said.
just an average job, then that's risky.
Yeah, definitely.
Great, Aniket. Thank you so much for your time and wisdom. And we're of course connected. So, and if anyone else wants to connect with Aniket, please add him on LinkedIn, and you can take his guidance. Thank you so
So
much, Aniket.
I had a great time here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.